Welcome to Real Estate for Beginners. I'm Gershon Levy. In this episode, we're going to jump into an actual residential real estate deal by looking at the main characters and what their motivations are. I hope you enjoy. So now let's look at the actual residential real estate process and how it unfolds. On the board, I have the most important people or the main characters in the deal. I recognize there are some other people like inspectors, appraisers, escrow officers that are vital to the life of the deal, but we'll talk about them once we talk about escrow in a few minutes. These people right now are the most important from the beginning to the end of the deal. So the two most important people, obviously, are the buyer and the seller. The buyer being the person that wants to buy the property, they create the demand, and the seller being the person that wants to sell the property since they have the supply. Now they're both going to want to use experts to help them through the deals because the experts know what they're doing. Those people are called real estate agents, like me. Now, when a buyer uses a real estate agent to help them buy a property, that person is called a buyer's agent. For a seller, when they contact somebody and say, hey, I need help selling my home, can you help me? That agent is called a listing agent. I have the word broker written next to both just to denote that these agents work for somebody. Their boss is essentially called a broker. A broker runs the brokerage, which is the business where these agents work. Now, when the buyer first contacts the buyer's agent, one of the initial questions is, how do you intend to pay for this house? Do you have the cash? And most people are going to say, no, I don't. I have some of it, but I don't have all of it. I need someone who's going to lend me the money to go and buy the house. And that person is called a lender. Easy enough. Now, the lender's job is to qualify and get the buyer approved for a loan to buy a home. A loan to buy a home is called a mortgage. Let's put that down. Loan to buy a home. Now, these people, the buyer, the buyer's agent, and the lender are going to kind of form the three amigos, the base people that are going to work on this side to make the deal happen. Now let's look at the seller really quickly. We know that they're working with the listing agent, but one thing I want to talk about is the fact that a seller at one point was a buyer. Right? At one point, they bought the house that they're now trying to sell. And let's say it was 10 years ago. Well, at that point, they also used the lender, and the lender got them a mortgage, right? A loan to buy the home. And by this point, the chances are that they haven't paid off the full mortgage because most mortgages are 30 years, some are 15, but most are 30-year mortgages. So by this time, they probably paid off a portion of it. So they have what's called a mortgage balance that's remaining. Now, once the seller sells the house to the buyer, they're going to get a final sales price, maybe let's say $500,000. And after they take that $500,000 and they pay off the remaining mortgage balance or the amount that they still owe on the house, they're going to be left with a profit based off the house increasing in value over that time. That profit is called equity. And you've probably heard that word many times, and it's very important to know in real estate. It's essentially the motivation of mostly all sellers, right? They want to unlock this profit or the equity in the house so they can take that money and then buy a bigger home or, live off of it or do whatever they will with the money. The series is not quite over yet, so make sure you watch the next video, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Have a great day, and thanks so much.